Welcome to Copilots, the podcast where we watch not just the first episode of a show,
but also the second. Some shows don't have the best pilot episode. Give it a second chance. Might just change your mind.
Here we take that chance for you and let you know our opinion on if a show deserves more than just one shot.
I'm Justice. Alongside me is my co-pilot Josh. Now, let's get ready for takeoff. Your in-flight entertainment this time will be Twisted Metal.
I remember Twisted Metal. I played those games growing up on the PlayStation.
Yeah, and then I tried to play them again and I realized, man, I don't like most vehicle games.
Yeah, I don't think I played Twisted Metal since like New Year's 2017, 2016.
I don't think I've played it since like 2012.
I was at my friend's place for a New Year's Eve party.
Yeah.
And we played Twisted Metal Black on, I think, the PS3.
How was that?
We were very drunk, so I barely remember.
See, the only good memories I have of playing Twisted Metal are just from, like, trying to break through the glass on the skyline map. You can ramp off a building that has a pool to another building that has, like, a skylight, I think, and break through it, some shit like that.
Yeah.
It was trying to do dumb shit that I knew existed. That was it.
Anyways, episode 1 of Twisted Metal, the TV show, not the video game.
What about the comic? Is it not the comic either?
I don't think it's the comic.
Oh.
Is entitled WLUDRV, which I believe is like a license plate game. Like, all these titles are like 7 letters, which is like license plate game stuff.
Yeah.
So I think this one is Will You Drive, which makes sense based on the episode itself.
Yep. I was trying to see if it was something like, what would Jesus do? I don't think it is. I've now made you try to go through acronyms for it in my head, haven't you?
Well, obviously, the only character whose name starts with an L is Loud. So it's like Would Loud or What Loud or Will Loud. I don't know what the U is.
Will Loud unite drivers riding for vengeance? Because the F doesn't have to be acronymed for 4.
Yeah, you got it. There we go.
I don't know what their vengeance is, but probably against cops.
If Loud does unite people, it's because he's a martyr to the cause.
Exactly.
So, episode 1 opens with Anthony Mackie's character, John Doe, giving us a
kind of basic idea rundown of what's going on.
So, Twisted Metal, the world takes place in a post-apocalyptic future where 20 years ago, a computer virus came around.
Y2K.
And destroyed all the computers.
Yeah, Y2K happened, and
because people couldn't live without direct access to porn, society fell into shambles.
Yeah.
So, cities closed themselves off.
Which is weird, because it runs itself almost like Y2K. And I obviously don't know, but I didn't think internet porn was big in, like, the late 90s, almost 2000s. I have no clue, obviously, or honestly, but, like, I wouldn't have thought so. I thought that was still, like, Cinemax and HBO's game.
I don't know. I'm just telling you what John Doe told me.
Fair.
But larger issue is that the power grids failed. All notions of like what a civilized world fell apart.
Yeah. And
so cities kicked all the criminals out and closed their walls. Built walls and then closed their gates to these people. And now the cities serve as like independent bastions of civilization.
Yeah.
Where outsiders stay outside and insiders stay inside. And you have a network of people called milkmen who deliver things from city to city.
Yeah, the delivery guys, they get commissioned by cities and they're basically paid in goods. So food, weapons, gas, car parts, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all that stuff. So he also explains that the biggest risk to milkmen like him are vultures, which is what they call other outsiders who aren't milkmen but try to steal milkmen deliveries.
Yeah. And so we follow John while he does some deliveries.
Yep.
A small town, and then a small town delivery where he trades what is puppy chow?
Yeah.
For gas.
Yeah, I think some gas.
And windshield wipers.
Yeah, so windshield wipers. He was super happy with the windshield wipers.
Or the windshield wipers come out of later town, but anyways.
Windshield wipers may come from another town. I think.
We follow John through a couple deliveries, and then he's got a medicine run to take to New San Francisco.
Yeah, these runs serve as a way to show, not just tell, with the relation between insiders and outsiders that he was talking about in the very beginning of the intro.
Additionally, it serves as a way for us to get to know our protagonist John Doe a little bit.
Yeah, and his personality, because even though these people are large hints and don't like being around him. He's not bothered by it. He's pretty jokey/jovial about it and seems to be trying his best to be friendly.
Yep. So we get to San Francisco with the medicine delivery. There's some like action and stuff in between here.
A pair of people in a pink hearse try to rob him.
Yep.
He has a gun, they run off.
And I should point out, like, one of the big appeals of Twisted Metal as a show is the same appeal as, like, almost the same appeal as like the Fast and Furious franchise after the first couple movies, where it's not just like the appeal of Twisted Metal franchise is largely in watching cars blow
do cool
up.
shit and blow up.
Yeah, do cool shit and blow up.
Yeah,
and that's the same appeal as Twisted Metal, which is also the same appeal as one of my favorite shows called Blood Drive.
Blood Drive was great, but this has no Julian and Fink.
Not yet. We get Julian Fink. We get the Julian Fink character in season 2.
They won't be as good as Julian Fink.
I can't remember what his name is. But
I don't know, but he was great.
He hosts a tournament, and if you win, he grants your wish. Callisto, that's his name.
Yeah, Callisto.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the actor. The actor did a great job for Julian Fink. I can't remember his name.
Yeah. No, Callisto comes in season 2.
But John shows up at New San Francisco with a delivery of medicine, and he goes to drop it off, and they're just like, no, come through. And they wave him through the gate, and he's like, wait, what, inside?
They're like, the CEO wants to talk to you. Because cities are apparently run like
Chief
corporations.
Operating Officers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least New San Francisco is ran like a company.
Yeah.
So he gets led inside into a parking complex where he has to park parallel.
Yep.
Which is hilarious because like we've been watching John do all this like cool shit. Like he reads a mall map while like doing a drift around the map kiosk.
Yeah.
And like he does all these cool trick driving stuff, and then he can't parallel park.
He can't. It just takes way too long. Which, you know, I get it, kind of. Like, if you're trying to make fast ghettos, you're not going to parallel park. And also, who the fuck do you have to worry about parallel parking around?
Fair enough.
But he's then has his clothes stripped, all his guns and weapons taken away because he can't have them inside, and he is given basically a decontamination shower before he's given clothes. Or is it his clothes again?
Yeah, they
give him his clothes back, but they're washed now.
Yeah.
And he's led to the COO's apartment.
Well, no, he's first led to a bar. Well, he's not even led to a bar. A bag is thrown over his head.
He's bagged.
And then,
he's black bagged, yeah.
Then he has the bag pull off his head, and he's in a bar.
Yeah, I forgot, because she kind of just rehashes what she says here at her apartment in the moment afterwards.
Yeah. So Raven,
the COO of New San Francisco,
wants to talk to John because John is the only milkman who has come more than twice to New San Francisco.
Yes. He's
apparently made the delivery to New San Fran dozens of times.
Very consistently.
Whereas most milkmen only do it once or twice and then stop showing up to New San Francisco.
Yeah.
Which is probably because they're dead. Like, milkman is not a, like, career of longevity.
Yeah.
But because
I also think like around New San Francisco looks like it's more dangerous than the other areas because when he arrives at New San Francisco, he is driving through a street crowded with people who are like lingering around the outsides. I don't know what the societal setup is there, like the benefits of it. I assume they attack milkmen. Like when the guards are not paying attention, I assume they attack milkmen.
Yeah, there has to be some reason for outsiders to conglomerate around.
From the vibe we get here and just the general vibe about the insiders versus the outsiders, I don't think they're getting tossed scraps or anything.
Yeah, no. In fact, I think living so close to the city would like
probably be more dangerous for them.
Yeah, you're literally asking the guards to like take pot shots at you when they're bored.
Yeah.
But Raven tells this to John. She's like, you're the only milkman who comes regularly. I have a job for you. And he's like,
okay, what's the job?
And she's like, well, first, there's some complications. He goes, well, what are those? She's like, well, first, can't know what you're transporting. He's like, ooh, is it organs? I always want to transport organs. She's like, it's not organs.
Like, why is it never organs?
She says, the second is, it's in New Chicago.
And John's me like, nope, not gonna happen. Not going to New Chicago. You know how dangerous the Midwest is? I'm not fucking with that.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Hi, I live in the Midwest.
It's more fucked up than you think. And not just fucking Ohio. But she's like, John, come on. Surely you can handle it. And also, you haven't even heard what you would get yet. And he's like, nothing would be worth that. And he's like, well, don't you want somewhere to belong?
Well, first she's like, well, you know, I'm very powerful, right? Yes. I could grant you any wish you want. He's like, fine, I'll test you. First, unlimited gas.
And she's like, okay.
She's just like shrugged. She's like, yeah, no problem. And then he's like, I don't remember what his second request is.
It was something dumb.
Yeah, and then his third request is toilet paper. Unlimited toilet paper.
I think it may have been new clothes?
A new set of clothes.
Yeah.
2-ply toilet paper at least.
Well, no, he says toilet paper, and she's like, I can do better than that. And
he's like, I would kill for some 2-ply. And she goes, I can do better than that. He goes,
3-ply?
Anthony Mackie's comedic timing in this show is just
Anthony Mackie has always been a great comedian actor, and people just forgot about that because he was doing action movies.
Because Marvel cast him as a superhero, and
not one of the funny ones.
It is upsetting that he didn't get a comedy hero character.
Yeah, and then in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they tried to do more comedy stuff, but Falcon and the Winter Soldier was bad.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
But Anthony Mackie's got comedy chops. He's had them forever.
And so she's like, take a walk with me. And he's like, I don't know if I want to. She's like, come on.
Yeah.
And so he stands up and he's going to leave his beer behind initially. Then he turns around, grabs it, and chugs it.
Yeah.
He doesn't finish it though.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know about you. If I exist in a post-apocalyptic world where I don't get like, I don't get treats.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm chugging it or other. I'm just going to take it with me.
Yeah.
And if they try to stop me, I'm going to be like, I'm not doing the deal. Let me finish the beer.
I'm walking and drinking. Like,
yeah. I'm already the weird guy who's going to be walking around outside in your city. Let me drink a beer.
If you want to like complain about the beer, this is the first level of the negotiations. If I can't have the beer, the negotiations are already off.
Yeah, they're already falling apart, man.
Exactly. But she takes him out of the city and she's like, look around. And he's like, looking at her. He's like, yeah. And she goes, you see anything you like? He's like, oh, is that what I get? A souvenir? Well, I guess I'll take that woman's hat.
Yeah.
And she has like one of those like, she has like a beach hat, but it's like furry.
Yeah.
Not a beach hat.
A sun hat?
It is kind of a beach hat. I don't know what they're called.
It's a sun hat.
Is it a sun hat?
I believe so. They're just kind of meant to keep the sun out of your face and protect your face.
I always think the sun hat's like really wide brimmed.
I think it's just like a variation of sun hat, more like fashion based.
This is like one of those beach hats.
I don't know, man.
I'm going to see if I can find the name for it. This is now bugging the hell out of me.
Derby hat. She's a straw hat pirate.
Huh. Well, searching beach hat does not find what I'm looking for in the slightest.
Fair.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. Whatever. And she's like, no, not a souvenir, John. A home. A place to belong. And he's like, what? And she's like, you could live here. I'll make you a citizen if you complete this run for me.
And he's like, wait, what? And she's like, yeah. And then she invites him to join.
Specifically, she has a really strong line here where she's like, yeah, if you go to New Chicago and pick up the package and bring it back, you won't be coming back for a reward.
You'll be coming home.
And then she's like, come on, let's go back to my apartment.
We can have dinner.
Yeah, well, she doesn't say we'll have dinner yet, but I'd like to show you around. So he goes to her apartment, and she gets there, she's like, I'm going to go, like...
do something real quick.
I'll be right back. And he's looking around the apartment, and he's like, this is nice. This is really nice. This is, like, the perfect place for an ambush.
So he picks up a vase.
Well, first he goes to grab his knife.
Yes.
Which he doesn't have. They took it from him.
Yeah, he forgot about that. So then he picks up a vase.
Because he hears somebody coming down the steps. He's like, oh, I was right.
So he's put a chair between him and the steps, and is prepping to just slam this vase into whoever comes down his head. But the person walking down is holding a baby, and he's immediately like, oh. And the guy's like, oh, it's so nice to meet you. Raven told me she'd be bringing you by. I'm her husband.
Yeah, Raven comes out, she's like, oh, this is my husband.
Yeah. And the guy's looking at him skeptically, and he goes, oh, this, looks down at the vase. I was just admiring your, this thing.
This thing.
Yeah.
And then Raven kisses her husband on the cheek and goes, oh, this is John. He'll be staying for dinner. And John goes, what? And we look at them preparing dinner. They're frying like, I can't tell if it's supposed to be like a pork loin or like a very big sausage, because in one shot there's very clearly like a casing on it.
Yeah.
And then like in no shot after that do you see like the skin that would be a casing.
I think it's just indiscriminate meat.
Maybe. But John is supposed to be like chopping up the asparagus spears.
Yeah.
And he like goes to grab his knife and he doesn't have it, and he like looks around like a little sad, and then Raven hands him his knife back, and like she smiles at him, I can trust you.
Yeah, and he has a very much like, are you sure face? She just kind of nods, and he starts cutting up the asparagus. So they finish the meal, and they sit down to eat it. And John is heavily distracted by her child, Dove.
And the fork and knife.
Yes. And her husband is seemingly very focused on John, and
there's a little bit.
There's a line like, oh, what, you never seen a milkman before? And he's like, yeah. And then Raven calls on the fact that John's never seen a baby before.
Mm-hmm. And like, there's a little bit of table talk here in general, but like mostly it's John like trying to like use a fork and knife.
Yeah.
They finish eating, and there's just like Raven and her husband are singing Wheels on the Bus to the baby.
Yes.
And then the husband...
And they sing lyrics I had no idea were in that song, because I don't actually know that song.
Yeah. And then the husband stands up, and I just remember the husband's name is Noah.
That's what it was. I knew it was an N something.
And he stands up and he goes, I almost forgot dessert. And then he looks at John and goes, Jell-O. And John goes,
Jell-O to you too.
And so he goes back with like a plate of jiggly like orange Jell-O for like Jell-O mold.
They eat it, and then we kind of cut to Raven, Noah, Dove, and John on the street walking up to his car.
Yeah, in the parking complex.
Yeah,
and she's like, "You have 10 days."
Mm-hmm. She hands him a watch
that has a timer on it.
Yep,
10 days to get the package and return to New San Francisco,
or the deal is off.
And so he's like, 10 days, no problem. I'll be back in a jiff. And like he says it in a way to like that sounds like he's gonna take off.
And we get action music building, and we get the action shots that you get when people are driving cars. They turn the key on, you see them smash their foot on the pedal, slam their hand through positions on their gear shift, and then we pull out, and he is slowly getting out of his parallel parking position.
And as he pulls out of New San Francisco, Raven takes the baby and hands it to some guards and goes, "Give this back to its mother." And then she turns to Noah
and is like, "Your payment's in your apartment."
And then a guard drags Noah away.
Yep.
And that's the end of that part.
Mm-hmm. And we cut to... Actually, I think it may have been interspersed in here somewhere. I think it cuts after he first shows up over to quiet and loud.
Mm-hmm. We did not mention that before New San Francisco, we get, like, during that montage of John visiting cities, there's a scene where he's, like, on a beach.
Oh, yeah.
And he's at a campfire. He's built himself a campfire. He kills a baby seal for food.
After thinking, oh, adorable.
Oh, yeah, he sees a group of seals. He's like, they're playing with each other. He's like, oh, man, it'd be so cool to, like, have that.
Yeah.
And he looks at baby seal and he's like, he makes eyes at it like, but, you know, like, instead of that, I could have
food.
And he kills the baby seal. And as he's sitting there eating his seal steak,
he's thumbing a burned picture with the only visible face in it being a younger him.
Yeah, it's got two people standing on either side of a young John, but their faces have, like, been burnt out of the picture because the entire top of the photo is gone. That is important because it sets up his motivations that Raven is playing off of in the following scenes.
But in some scenes we had interspersed in his meeting with Raven, particularly after he arrives, before he goes to her apartment, we see the two people who tried to rob him earlier in that montage.
I think this is after he just pulls out of New San Fran. But yeah.
Well, that's when I think I could have sworn we picked up at their crash. We got a bit of their chase, and then I think it cut away, and then back to their crash.
Maybe, yeah. But anyways, if you're a fan of the Twisted Metal games, you'll recognize the two people that try to rob John's car earlier. Not necessarily because you'll know them as, like, the people.
You don't know the people.
But you'll recognize their car, which is the pink hearse.
Yes.
Which is driven by the character Quiet in the games.
Yeah.
And so here we have Loud and Quiet.
Brother and sister.
And they are currently being chased by another character you'll recognize from the games if you're familiar, Agent Stone.
Yes. Whose name you will recognize because it just has his name.
Also, he's the guy that drives the police car.
Yeah.
With the missile launcher mounted on top.
And they're arguing about not being able to get away, stealing too much stuff, being too greedy. When they were getting shot and they run off the side of a road that is raised up from the area around it and crash.
Stone shoots a missile at them.
Yes.
They dodge it, quotation marks. Because it wasn't just a missile, it has the time delay bomb in it that you can get in Twisted Metal. And so it misses and they're like, we're home free now.
And then it blows up to the back right hand side of their car.
Which flips their car off the road and it lands on the roof. They crawl out, only to be confronted by Stone and a group of his
officers
deputies.
Of the law. Yeah. And Stone goes on his rant about how if you want to reform the world, especially from how fucked up it is, you can't let any amount of crime get away.
And so, because of the crimes they've committed, mainly theft in this case, either they're both going to die
because they resisted,
or one of them can make the sacrifice and kill themselves, and the other can live.
Yep.
And so Quiet's entire character is stoic. So she closes her eyes while she grips her brother's hand, and then her brother breaks their grip and grabs the gun and shoots himself in the head so that she'll live.
After yelling "fuck you" at Stone,
he specifically says, "Eat my ass."
Yes. And Stone's like, your brother was a brave man, made a strong, hard choice. And then he says, but she still needs punished, so they brand her.
Well, specifically, he notices that she's missing a finger.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're from Orange County. I've heard what they do is barbaric. Well, at least you'll never have to tell anybody, you won't need words to tell people that you crossed Agent Stone, because he then has his deputy brand her with his badge.
Yeah.
And they leave her lying on the ground.
After he says, just in case you want to join your brother, and tosses her a bullet next to the gun. Because he threw them a gun to shoot one of themselves with only one bullet in it. Now she has another bullet to kill herself. So then we come back to John, who is pulling up outside of a gas station rest stop thing that says guides on the outside.
Yep, it says Tommy's Guide House, or Tommy's Guide Store.
I could never read the top one. I knew the guy's name was Tommy because I get it, but I could not make out that top word.
So Tommy is a map seller. And so John goes to step into the building and almost trips a tripwire attached to a claymore.
Improvised bomb. Claymore.
And he stops before he breaks the wire, but it's ticking down. He's like, can I get some help, please?
Yeah.
And then Tommy's like, you're lucky. Last guy that tripped this, I spent a week scrubbing his toenails and blood out of the tiles in my floor.
Yeah.
And so he's like, what can I do you for, John?
You here for on a delivery?
Or just to make my life harder.
And John's like, no, I'm here for a map. And Tommy immediately lights up and he's like, oh, why didn't you say so? Rushes around to the counter, because it definitely used to be a diner area.
And he's like, I know a bunch of people are heading up to the Great White North. Apparently there's a still rush up there.
Yeah.
I got maps that can get you there.
I got maps that will set your hits at twirling, I think is what he said, something like that.
Yeah. And then John's like, no, I'm not going north.
Going to Chicago.
Well, he's specifically like, I'm going east.
Yeah, I'm going east. And Tommy's me like, that's fucked up, right? That's bad.
How far east are you going?
Yeah.
And John's like, Chicago. And
Tommy's like, I'm not going to give you a map.
Nope, no map for you. Fuck off.
I'm not going to help you kill yourself.
It actually specifically says, give me your belt. And John's like, what? Why? He's like, because you're obviously suicidal.
Yeah. And then John's like, look, I gotta deal with New San Francisco. If I get them their stuff and take it back, I get to go inside. Like, he's pretty straight up with Tommy about what's at stake here. So Tommy ends up giving him a map.
And John trades him a box of new Crayola for it.
Yep.
And so
John sets off on the road again.
And like as he's getting ready to leave, Tommy's like, you're gonna have to go through Las Vegas.
Yeah.
You know who runs Las Vegas?
Yeah.
And John looks back at him, and then the scene cuts. John's back to driving.
And then we cut farther down the road where you see Quiet kind of pulling herself through the sand.
Well, she's like, she puts her jacket on and flips the collar up.
Her brother's jacket.
Pulls the gun out and like stands in the middle of the road. And
yeah, once
John
she notices the car.
John doesn't see her, and so he like looks up at the last minute, sees her, almost hits her, spins out, and then it's like, oh, fuck, he reaches over his glove box to grab his guns, only to like by the time he pulls them back out, for Quiet to have her gun in his face.
Yeah. And he's like, we have to stop meeting like this.
He doesn't know who she is yet. He hasn't recognized her.
Does he not? I know it's fairly soon in this interaction.
Yeah, but he's like, it's really rude to put your gun in somebody's face without at least telling them your name.
Yeah.
And then she gestures for him to get out of the car.
Yeah.
He pulls a knife to her throat, and then he sees her finger. He's like, oh, it's you.
Yeah.
He sees her missing finger. And then
he notices that she's wearing her brother's jacket. He's like, look, I know you're hurting her now, but that sound? Because we hear some ice cream truck.
He's like, get your partner out here. We need to go. Like that's not a birthday clown coming this way. And when he says, get your partner out, she tenses up.
Yeah, and then he makes this, he realizes something happened to her partner.
And he's like, I get you're hurting right now, but we need to go. And so instead of going, they take their guns and point them towards the ice cream truck that's coming, which is still like a decent bit away.
Yeah.
And the episode ends.
Yep. So Josh, what are your thoughts on episode 1 of Twisted Metal?
For an episode that's only 29 minutes long, it feels like much longer than that. It manages to set up so much exposition in 29 minutes that it's actually a little bit insane.
Fair.
What I will say is it doesn't have this is obviously coming from a bias after having seen episode 2.
Yeah.
This episode doesn't have enough Sweet Tooth. We have like
fair
a minute and a half of him. Like
not even that. We just see him hear a car in the distance, go, oh, get in a truck, and then start laughing.
Well, we hit his ice cream truck.
Yeah.
But like before that, we do see him dancing in the back of the ice cream truck to the ice cream truck's music.
Yes.
Yeah.
The ice cream truck that is filled with killing implements.
Yes.
And butchering instruments.
But no, like the show's fine. This first episode is fine. It's not like the best first episode of a show I've ever seen, but like it sets everything up pretty well.
Yeah.
And for 29 minutes, it does a lot.
Yeah.
What about you? I guess I should say I would watch more at this point. Like,
okay.
The first episode isn't like that much of a hook, but like it wasn't that much of an investment either. So I would give it another 29-minute episode.
Fair. Yeah, I'm kind of really much in the same boat on basically everything.
Mm-hmm.
I do enjoy seeing Anthony Mackie doing something that has comedy bits in it. Because like I said, the man has comedy chops. He just hasn't got to use them for like anything people care about in a while. I say that not to be mean, but as in I can't think of everything off the top of my head. Maybe he has, I don't know. But that's nice to see. Yeah, it's really just going to be how well Sweet Tooth pops off. That's really, I think, would sell the premise with what we have in episode 1.
Yeah.
But I would watch more because, like you said, it's very, very little investment at the moment.
Yeah, it's like, because Twisted Metal is like, from everything I saw, pitched as like a premiere television show.
Yeah.
I expected it to be like minimum 50 minutes an episode. And like, honestly, that idea of Twisted Metal being a premiere television show with 50-minute episodes and like
was too much.
High drama, like I was like,
I would not want high drama Twisted Metal, no.
But like 29-minute action comedy.
Yeah, that works. That's great.
Yeah.
So episode 2.
Yeah, episode 2 is entitled 3RNCRCS, which you're telling me is 3-ring circus.
I would think so. It's got a clown.
Yeah, I see the circus. I see the 3 in the circus. I just, RN being ring doesn't sit right with me. Like, there's no indicator that that's supposed to be.
Yeah, but if you look at a lot of things like that, you go for something that sounds approximate in sound. So 3-ring circus.
Yeah.
3-ring.
I guess
you kind of cut the G, you clip the G. So like I was going to say 3-ring circus really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of clip your G as you go.
So this episode starts with a flash on screen that says 24 seconds earlier.
Yeah.
And it's Anthony Mackie.
Dumb as fuck. I love it.
It's John Doe and Quiet turning
to
point their guns at the oncoming Sweet Tooth and his ice cream truck. And they go to pull their triggers to start unloading the guns. And all 3 guns are empty. Yep. We knew Quiet's gun was empty because she only had 1 bullet.
Yeah.
And she shot it in the air when she was trying to intimidate John Doe out of the car. But we didn't know John's guns were empty. So the fact that all 3 of them are like, click, click, click. He goes, this never happens to me. I'm so sorry. And he starts like
trying to make a joke. And she just immediately jumps in his car and goes off.
He's like getting bullets out of his pocket to load the guns. And he drops on the ground and he like picks them up and he turns around and she's gone and he hears his car start.
And he's like, oh, fuck you. And he takes off after his car.
And he manages to catch up and get in the passenger door.
And he's like, why are you constantly trying to steal my car?
Yeah, and he's like, look, I need you to get out of my car so I can drive. Like, just, I need to drive. And he has a gun pulled on her.
Yeah.
But she has his knife at his dick.
Mm-hmm.
And then Evelyn, the car starts like sputtering. He's like, see, she doesn't like you. Better let me drive or we're not going to get out of here alive.
And they are actively being shot at now by Sweet Tooth.
Yeah.
So they do switch seats.
While the car's still moving.
Yes.
And while this is happening, Sweet Tooth is gaining on them and shooting. And eventually, John Doe, takes control of Evelyn, and like they actually start like outpacing Sweet Tooth. But he has to do a U-turn because like to get headed back in the right direction.
Yeah.
He actually doesn't start. He doesn't start with a U-turn. He spins his car so he's driving in reverse, so he can have his guns aimed at Sweet Tooth
because he has two tiny chain guns on the front.
And Sweet Tooth pulls up alongside John while he's doing this, and he's like signaling for them to roll down their windows. So John finally does, and he goes, "Are you coming to the show?"
And John's like, "Yeah, of course I'm coming to the show."
And so Sweet Tooth's like, "Yay!" Like Sweet Tooth's happy about it.
Yeah.
And then John like hits the gas so he's driving faster in reverse, and then opens fire on Sweet Tooth, and Sweet Tooth's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. So Sweet Tooth eventually corrals them into a building.
Well, he gives chase and then manages to pop one of
Evelyn's tires, which is the name of John's car.
And so John goes crashing through the window of this casino.
Assumingly, this is the Monte Cristo.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about Vegas casinos.
And so crashes through the window, and the car stops like next to the check-in counter of the hotel portion.
Yeah.
And the lights are all off in the hotel. So John and Quiet...
Well, I believe we cut from here after they crash in, because we get the Twisted Metal logo as they crash through the glass.
Yes.
And then when we pick back up with Stu and...
Mike, the B-plot of this episode.
Yes.
Stu and Mike are guards from maybe Seattle, is what they say. But importantly, right now,
from the implications from the way they're talking, it sounded to me like they were guards for the camp that they're about to be eaten at. They just fell asleep, and basically their punishment is, we're going to eat you. It's very much how it sounded to me.
No, Stu's not a cannibal. No way.
I don't think so, but it's just the way it initially sounded to me is what I'm saying.
100% they weren't guards for this camp. Yeah. They were exiled from their thing, is what they say, so which means they...
Yeah.
And... Stu specifically says, "How was I supposed to know there were all these butchers out this way?"
Yeah, I know. I mean, at like the moment when they're first introduced, I thought they were just like, "Hey, your punishment in this group for not doing your job is to just be eaten."
Yeah. So we cut to Stu and Mike, who were caught by butchers. Butchers is like the in-world universe term for
cannibal groups.
Cannibal groups, and they are currently soaking in bathtubs of teriyaki sauce, getting ready to be slaughtered.
And one of the guys doing the marinating is being scolded by another because, "Why'd you put both of them in teriyaki sauce? What have I told you about diversifying the flavors, man?" And the guy's like, "Fine. I'll put lemon pepper on the tender one."
On the big one.
On the big one. No, he calls him the tender one.
He actually says the thick one.
I thought he said the tender one.
No, he says thick one because he's talking about Stu. Stu's big, fat. He says thick.
Okay, whatever.
And then as he's putting lemon pepper on Stu, people's heads start like popping because Agent Stone and a bunch of deputies
storm in.
And Stone goes, "We don't only find the pigs before the luau. Go ahead and cut them free."
Yeah.
And then when they get out, he notices like they have boots and stuff, and they have like guard uniforms. He's like, "Oh, you boys were guards?"
And they're both like, yes.
And Stu's initially like, "Yeah, but."
And he goes to explain, and
Mike interrupts him and goes, "Yeah, we were on a scouting mission for Seattle,
and they got a drop on us."
And Agent Stone whistles, and he goes, "Well, you could always try your luck getting back north,
or you can come with me and my boys. But
it is dangerous up that way. But we're always looking for able bodies to help enforce the law." And his like right hand man, his like top deputy, extends guns to Mike and Stu.
Yeah.
Mike instantly takes his. Stu hesitates, and Mike's like elbows him, and so Stu takes a gun.
And then they kind of just leave the scene. And that's basically what we get with Stu and Mike right now?
Yes.
Yeah. Because we'll come back to them again later in a bit.
Yep.
So then we pick up with Quiet and John.
And John's trying to like repair the puncture in his tire.
Yeah, because they are out of the car when we get back.
And Quiet's not helping him at all. And then as they hear Sweet Tooth approach, they both like crouch in front of Evelyn between Evelyn and the counter.
Yeah.
And John's like, whisper something to Quiet.
Yeah.
And
he's like, I'll get us out of here. Just
follow
stay
my
here.
lead.
Follow my lead, something like that.
And instead she grabs the pin that's chained to the counter and stabs him in the shoulder with it.
Yeah, so he hollers in pain. So Sweet Tooth, who has just walked in the door, immediately swings his head that way.
And so he yoinks the pin out of his back and then like tucks and rolls towards the slot machines.
Mm-hmm. And Sweet Tooth starts making his way to the car over there while hollering Marco.
It was specifically Sweet Tooth's like, you can run, you can hide, but I have ways to find you.
Yeah.
And he goes, Marco? Huh.
That usually works.
It usually works, yeah. Just so you know, audience, passengers, committed friends of the podcast, Sweet Tooth is the entire reason to watch the rest of this series from this point on.
Yeah.
Will Arnett, the voice of Will Arnett, with the physical comedy of Samoa Joseph is
It is great. It is still very weird to my ear to hear Will Arnett's voice and see Samoa Joe's body. Like, the performance from both of them is fantastic. Will Arnett does great voice acting. He's what makes the Lego Batman movies so good. They would not be nearly as good without the Batman in them. Also, the same, I think, can be said for the Lego movies. They wouldn't be nearly as good without Lego Batman in them.
Yeah.
Which Will Arnett is the voice of. And Samoa Joe, surprisingly good, like, comedy skills with his body. He has good comedic language.
It shouldn't be surprising if you've watched wrestling long
I'm
enough,
aware.
because, like, one of the best bits in wrestling for a long time now has been, like, when a high flyer will, like, climb the top rope and go to, like, do a dive at Samoa Joe, and he'll just, like, look at them and walk off, and they'll miss their dive. And it's so good every time. Like, sometimes he'll just give a little shrug as he walks off, because it's like, guys, I'm on my feet. You're not gonna be able to, like, hit me with this.
Yeah.
But, like, Samoa Joe's had, like, physical comedy chops for forever. Like, and he's honed them in wrestling, and he's so good with it. But also, Joe, while Sweet Tooth is headed over to Evelyn, Quiet is pulling a vent off the wall.
Well, she doesn't pull the vent off the wall yet. So after he says that usually works, Sweet Tooth kind of shrugs and then claps. And all the lights come on, as do the casino machines. And Quiet takes this moment with all of the sound to pry the vent out of the wall.
But she still makes a loud noise.
Yeah.
And, like, Sweet Tooth, like, looks over in that direction. So she grabs a beer bottle.
Yeah.
And, like, earlier she had, like, jokingly, like, told John, shush John.
Yeah.
And so now, after she makes a big noise with the vent, he, like, looks at her and goes, shh.
And she throws the beer bottle, like, as close to him as she can without directly hitting him.
And it breaks on a slot machine right above his head.
So
Sweet Tooth snaps. And that slot machine just starts paying out. Like, it's a comedy bit.
And Sweet Tooth's attention snaps over there, and he sees John and starts making his way over there. And they start into a fist fight. No, and
it doesn't start as a fist fight. John's running away.
Yeah. And
Sweet Tooth has a shotgun. He goes, you know, I always wanted to play catch with my dad, but he could never catch a ball. But he could catch a bullet. And shoots a shotgun at John. John manages to dodge the shotgun blast. And instead of, like, pumping and reloading, Sweet Tooth just chucks the shotgun.
Yeah.
And
then he starts trying to fist fight him.
Not yet. He has a machete still.
Sorry.
He throws the machete at John. It almost hits John, and then they start fist fighting. John punches Sweet Tooth in the face, but hurts his own hand, and then Sweet Tooth gets the line of, "Oh, well, aren't you a tall glass of water?"
Yeah.
And then they start fist fighting. You were just skipping the machete fight.
The machete part was not important. It's for one swing. There's not even a good line with that one, so I was just not going to mention it.
There is a good line. He has, like, a joke, but, like, instead of having a punchline, he just goes, machete!
It wasn't very good. I didn't like that one. And you didn't even mention there was a joke. You said he threw a machete.
That's fair. I didn't mention the joke. There is a joke. I don't remember what the joke was, but the punchline...
Because it wasn't a very good one.
Because the punchline of the joke...
wasn't a punchline. It was a machete throw.
He just says the word machete. Like, he tells the joke, and there's supposed to be a punchline, he goes, machete, and throws the machete. It's funny.
Okay.
The joke wasn't, but the machete part is.
Sure.
Fine, yeah, the fist fight. Go ahead.
They get into a fist fight. John is very much not equipped for that. Sweet Tooth comments on it, and then ends up slamming John's face into a slot machine, and then they bond over the song that's playing.
Yeah, because at one point, Sweet Tooth STOs John onto a craps table.
Yeah.
And then while John is rolling on the ground, he goes, "It's time for some kill music."
Yeah.
And hits a button on the remote.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And Cisco's thong song starts playing.
Yep.
And he grabs John, slams him into that machine, and
as he's crushing John's face into the glass of the slot machine, starts singing along to the thong song.
And then unprompted, John, like, goes, "See that thong, the thong." And
they start going back and forth. At first, with Sweet Tooth aggressively pointing John in.
Yeah.
And then, after they sing it a bit more together, Sweet Tooth slams John's head back into the slot machine and asks him if he loves the silver-haired goddess.
This is the silver-haired god.
Yeah.
You also worship the silver-haired god?
Yeah. And John's like, "Yeah, man, I listened to Awaken the Dragon until the CD broke in my car. Listen to it all the time."
And so they bond a little bit.
Yep.
And Sweet Tooth is like, you said you were coming to my show. Then you shot at me. Why did you lie to me? I can't stand liars. And John's like, well, you know, I've never had anybody I could trust. Like, it's just been me by myself.
People have always been shooting at me. It's been that way for as long as I can remember. And Sweet Tooth goes, "It sounds like you have trust issues." And then John's like, "Well, yeah, I mean, I do. Like, I don't really remember anything."
And so, like, before he's like, "I don't remember anything," he's like, "I do." And so he's like, "So you're going to the show?"
Yeah.
And
John
like, goes,
"I got someplace to be.
I gotta leave." And so he said, "I thought you said you were going to the show."
And John's like, I am, but I can leave after the show, right?"
this is where they start like getting to the I don't remember anything.
Yeah,
and he's like,
because Sweet Tooth is like, well then, I guess tonight is opening night.
And they bond a little more. John talks about how he can't remember anything. And Sweet Tooth's like, John specifically says, the first thing I remember is waking up in a car with my head covered in blood. And Sweet Tooth's like, funny, my first memory is also my head covered in blood. But it was coming out of my mom's whisker biscuit.
Yeah, but I mean, before we get to that part, it's, well, then tonight's not been shown. And then we cut back to Stu and Mike with Agent Stone at their base.
Stu and Mike are so boring. This is such a boring B plot.
Yeah, but it establishes Agent Stone, who is definitely going to be the villain for the season.
So,
well, him and Raven.
So, Agent Stone is showing Stu and Mike around his base.
Yes,
which is like, I think...
it's a dam?
The Hoover Dam, maybe?
It seems to be a dam.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know if it's necessarily the Hoover Dam, but given its location, probably.
He's like, well, how'd you boys like your shower? And Stu goes, man, I haven't felt hot water that wasn't my own piss in so long.
Yeah.
And Mike, like, elbows him, and he's like, it's part of your recompense for helping with the law.
Yep.
You get hot showers, hot blankets, and hot food.
As long as you do your job.
And they pan over to a counter where somebody is being served from, like, a provisions or
yeah, after getting
supplies.
A ticket card punched.
And they're being served a Salisbury steak TV dinner with mashed potatoes.
Yep.
And Mike goes, mashed potatoes.
Yeah. And Stone's like, yeah, but you guys are going to have some as soon as you do your first job, though we can see what we're working with.
And he's like, well, he says it's time for initiation.
Yeah. And so then we cut to where their initiation is. And they're both given...
Yeah, they're on a hillside.
Then they've both been given snipers of some sort.
30 cals.
30 cals, yeah. And they are sitting outside of a...
Oh, I don't want the audience to think I recognize the 30 cals. Mike specifically later calls them 30 cals.
Fair.
I'm not a gun bro.
They're posted up on this ridge above what is a bait supply truck.
Yeah, no, it's not a bait supply truck. The supply truck broke down. They can't move it. Stone said so.
Yeah, I don't believe him. But they're guarding it from seagulls.
Which seagulls, as Stone's deputy explains
to Stu, and Stu's like, what do you mean seagulls? They look like normal people. Because he asked that question as soon as a car starts to pull up.
Yeah, he's like, why do you call them seagulls? They look like normal survivors to me. And then Stone's deputy goes, what else would you call people who survive off trash?
Yeah.
Survive off eating trash.
Your job is to take them out.
If they touch the supplies, take them out.
And Stu's like, wait, what? And Stone's like, the law's the law. Anyone breaks it, you take them down.
So the two survivors, seagulls, open the supply truck. And as soon as they open the supply truck, Mike shoots one of them through the chest.
Mm-hmm. And then elbows Stu to shoot the other one.
And so Stu is like really hesitant, and he doesn't, instead of shooting the other guy, he shoots the ground in front of him.
And Stone's just like, well, take another shot. You got time.
Yeah, the other guy runs, gets back in his car, and like as he's trying to get it started, Stu's hesitating again to shoot. Mm-hmm. And then Mike just shoots the dude in the head, and Stone comes up and he's like, good job, guys. You pass.
Yep.
And then he looks at Stu and he goes, you missed.
It's fine to be a bit rusty. We'll work on that.
It's an honest mistake. It's a rookie mistake. Never let it happen again.
Yeah.
I think that's the end of Stu and Mike for now.
I believe so. And then we cut back to Sweet Tooth and John bonding about the fact that John has no memory. Because we get the Sweet Tooth being like, oh yeah, I also remember waking up with my head covered in blood. That's when I was born.
Coming out of my mom's whisker biscuit.
And John's like, you remember that?
And Sweet Tooth goes, I remember everything.
Like when I shit myself in front of everyone in my elementary school performance of Oklahoma. I can still see them there. Hear their laughter, their smiling faces. And he's like staring off in the distance, and John looks over his shoulder because he thinks there might actually be someone there. And then they're talking about, Sweet Tooth is like, well, do you know who I am? And John's like, yeah, you're Sweet Tooth. Everyone on East Coast knows who on the West Coast, knows who runs Lost Vegas. Mm-hmm. And Sweet Tooth's like, yeah, don't you just love it? Like, hear that? It gives me shivers.
Well, he's specifically talking about like
feel it.
The power of names. Like,
yeah.
And John's like, yeah, you're Sweet Tooth. And Sweet Tooth's like, yeah, doesn't the name just give you chills down your spine? Don't you feel it? He's like, what's your name? And John goes, John Doe. And Sweet Tooth goes,
7 out of 10.
And John's like, I didn't choose it. It's the name I don't even know what name I was born with. It's just what I've been called. And Sweet Tooth goes, amnesia? And he was like,
yeah.
What type of amnesia? What flavor? John's like, I just remember waking up in the car with my head covered in blood.
Yeah.
Whisker biscuit line. And then Sweet Tooth mentions that when the world went to shit, he left the place where he used to live to come to Las Vegas to become a star.
Yep.
And when he says that,
we pan the camera across to see it's the area that's his bed because they've walked up to where he's staying. He's like, yeah, this is where I stay now. I came here after the world went to shit. And John briefly asks like why he stays down here, and he's like, yeah, I like it more. I like to feel in the middle of it, you know.
Well, and the penthouse it's too open. There's too much.
Yeah. And he's like, this is where I sleep. Pat's like, well, I think it looks like a blackjack table covered with shit. But in what makes up part of the bed is a tattered and torn asylum straitjacket.
Yeah. Mm. And so they're talking about having people in their life to make their life worth meaning. And so he's talking about Harold, which is a paper bag that it's
his best friend.
It's his best friend. He's been with him all his life.
Yeah, because at first they're talking about how it can be lonely, and it's important to have people you can trust.
And that's when he mentions Harold, the paper bag. And he's like, Harold doesn't have any hands, so he like, can't ever applaud for me, you know?
Yeah.
I miss the sound of meat mittens slapping together.
And he's like, but what about you? What's with your friend, that girl that came in with you?
He's like, what about you? Do you have anybody? And John's like, yeah, I have Evelyn.
Oh, yeah.
And like, she means everything to me, man. Like, I just wish I could make her laugh, you know?
And then Sweet Tooth clicks a button, and we see Quiet inside of what looks like it was a fish tank at some point.
Well, not yet, because Sweet Tooth he's like, they're having this conversation about Evelyn, and Sweet Tooth goes, you know, she must applaud for you all the time with her hands. And John goes, no, Evelyn doesn't have hands. She's my car. And Sweet Tooth goes,
oh, then who is this? Yeah.
He goes, that's sad. And then he goes, but who is this then?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the giant fish tank with...
Yeah. And John and Sweet Tooth is like, well then, if that's not her, I'll see how long she can go without food. Last guy lasted like
4 weeks.
4 weeks.
I think she can outdo you. And he goes, no, I don't. I don't think she's going to outdo him.
And John seems to be completely fine with that until Quiet holds up Evelyn's keys.
Yeah. Sweet Tooth is turned around, and John is like arguing silently with Quiet, and he's like, "Why you try to kill me every chance you could get? Why would I help you? You stabbed me in the back, literally and figuratively." And she like just reaches in her pocket and pulls out Evelyn's keys and is like, "Fuck."
So then John's like, "Well, if you really want to hear meat clapping together, think about how much more it'll sound if you let her watch too. That'll be 4 hands clapping."
And Sweet Tooth's like,
okay.
I don't normally get feedback from the 25 to 34-year-old female demographic. So, okay.
Yep.
And then he serves them tiger steak dinners.
Yes.
Because apparently...
White tiger.
Yeah.
Prepared 3 ways.
Apparently there are white tigers breeding on the 4th floor, and they've just been left there out of control.
Yep.
Which is great. Amazing.
Also a reference to a magic I can't remember the name of.
Don't know. Don't actually care.
One of them got mauled by it.
So Sweet Tooth goes on stage. He's in a suit now. And he's like, this evening, I will be performing for you.
In-room entertainment.
The hotel. In-room entertainment. Yeah.
Inspired by in-room entertainment.
And he basically starts like recreating the like
hotel in-room entertainment. These are our amenities. This is what you can do.
Yeah, like
shit that you can find or you used to be able to find on like even a moderately okay hotel's in-room television.
Yeah, just the commercials that would play incessantly if you had the TV on, but not on a channel.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely boring. John and Quiet are like both having trouble staying awake.
Yep.
Although they did argue a little bit at the start of the show because John was like, you couldn't have like helped me or anything.
Yeah.
And she's just like eating the tiger steak. And John finally takes a bite of his. He's like, oh, this is actually really
good. Yeah. So at the end of the show, Sweet Tooth jumps down and he's like, okay, now time for the Q&A, where I ask the Q's, and if I don't like it, I kick your A's.
And he's like, so what'd you think? And John goes, oh, it was masterful. It was
I can feel the emotion, the soul. It was beautiful. And Sweet Tooth isn't seemingly happy about it. He's not responding, and his body language is getting tense.
And then Sweet Tooth, he's like...
What specifically?
And he's like...
And then Quiet immediately cuts and goes, it was shit.
No, not yet. Because you're right, his body language is getting tense, but John's like, I don't know, it was a tour de force. And when he says tour de force, Sweet Tooth smacks the table and knocks it sideways.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, if you're not going to be honest with me, I'm going to tour de force this machete down your throat.
Yeah, he actually has a line about that then. And then Quiet's like, it was fucking shit.
And Sweet Tooth turns to John and goes, well, do you agree with her? And he's like, yeah, man, it was boring. And he turns back to Quiet. He's like, so sorry.
I mean, before this, doesn't John immediately say, wait, you can talk and now you choose to?
Yeah, now you choose to say something?
Very much the Android 16 to 17, when he's finally chooses to speak, and 17's like, wait, you finally choose to speak, and it's to tell me to run away.
To be fair, though, 16 was right, just like Quiet.
Yeah.
And so Sweet Tooth turns to John and is like, well, is she right? Do you agree with her? And like John waffles a bit.
And he's like, yeah, it was boring, man. You made a play about a hotel.
And Sweet Tooth's like, well, Mark Twain says to write about what you know. And Quiet's like, well, Mark Twain's a fucking hack. You gotta get out in the world and see stuff.
And John's like, yeah, man, you really gotta get out there.
And Sweet Tooth's like, you're right. I've been waiting for my audience to come to me, but I should hunt them down and force them to watch my act.
And Quiet's like, no, that's not what I'm saying. And Sweet Tooth's like, thank you guys so much.
She's like, that's not what I was saying. And Sweet Tooth goes, no, it's exactly what you're saying. I fully understand now.
Yeah, I really appreciate the honest criticism, guys.
And then we cut to them in the room, the main room of the hotel where they came in.
Fixing Evelyn's tire, getting ready to go.
Sweet Tooth gives them signed headshots, which is actually just himself drawing himself. And he's like, I wrote a little inscription on there for you. And it says, I'll see you soon.
And Quiet's just like, I hope not.
Oh, God, I hope not.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody leaves amicably. They all part ways. Sweet Tooth's like, this is a day of first performance of my show.
First time letting people leave alive. My first fans. You guys. And so John and Evelyn and Quiet take off. And Quiet immediately has a knife drawn at his leg again after he is like, why the fuck should I even take you anywhere?
Yeah.
And then he looks down and is like, okay, good point.
And she's like, I'm trying to find somebody. He's like, well, I'm trying to get somewhere. Here's the deal. I'll take you as close as I can to get you to where you need to go. And until then, be amicable, yeah?
Well, actually, she doesn't say anything yet.
No? She does say...
Yeah, no, she says that first.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she agrees to it, and he's like, okay, cool then. So what's your name?
And she's like, she doesn't respond at all. He's like, Bridget?
Jennifer? Yolanda?
He's like, I'm gonna, if you don't want to talk, you just want to be quiet. That's what I'm going to call you. Quiet. That work? She's like, yeah. And so...
Okay, then quiet.
And then so they're driving down the road, and they're nearing a dam where we see Mike, Stu, and the primary deputy of Stone. I don't remember the guy's name.
At a
Dickhead. Dickhead?
Okay.
Dickhead, yeah.
At some form of road blocking?
Yeah, it's one of those arms that like drop down.
Bollard arms, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what they're called. I know the posts sticking up on the roads or like sidewalks can be called bollards, but I don't know what the arm is.
So Deputy Dickhead turns to Stu and Mike goes, look, it's simple. You're going to stop them, ask them if they have an open road license. If they don't, we'll detain them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they can drive through.
And Stu's like, okay, well, why are we stopping them?
And also, is an open road license like a common? And
what even is an open road license?
Stu's like, and so Deputy Dickhead looks at Stu and just goes, go.
Yeah, kind of pushes him. And Stu's like, okay, I'll learn on the job. I can appreciate that.
So they stop.
And John is like, okay, that's fine. Let me handle this. I deal with these type of people all the time. I've never seen a post outside of a civilization, but like, I'm a milkman. I do this type of stuff all the time. I know how these people talk.
And so the car stops. Stu comes up the window. He's like, "You have your ORL?" And John goes,
"Can you give me your ORL?"
Yeah, can you give me your ORL? And John goes,
"Did you just ask me for oral?"
And Stu's like, "No, it's an open road license." He's like,
ORL.
And John's like, "It's a terrible acronym." And like, there's a little bit back and forth here. And the deputy notices Quiet,
and Quiet notices him.
And so like, while John is actually like trying to talk to Stu and like maybe potentially making like decent communication and progress, Quiet just opens the door of the car, gets out with her gun,
and goes to shoot the guy.
And she gets tased immediately. And like, as she's getting tased, John hops out of the car. He's like, "What's going on?" And like, before he can say anything or do anything,
Stu tases him.
And that's the end of the episode.
Yep.
End of episode 2. Justice, at this point, what are your thoughts on Twisted Metal? And would you watch more?
I need more Sweet Tooth. He needs to come back already. I know they just separated ways, but he's going to be the one that saves them from the dam and the Agent Stone, right? Has to be.
Sweet Tooth is the best part of this show.
He really is so far. I also like Stu. Stu is not bad.
Stu's gonna die so hard.
Oh yeah, Stu's gonna die a painful death. No way around that.
And Stu keeps hesitating, and every time he hesitates, I'm like, these are the people that are gonna kill you for hesitating, Stu.
Oh yeah, no, Stu's gonna get himself killed. But he's not a bad guy.
No, Stu's too good of a guy for this.
That's the problem. He's gonna die because of it.
But yeah, would you watch more?
Yeah, I would.
Me too. I think the show's very good.
Its music is actually surprisingly good. Not just the song. The music it's had throughout has been fairly good.
Yeah.
Like during the chase scene with Sweet Tooth, it was almost like it was vaguely like rock, but with like an almost polka tone to it.
No, it's because they took the theme from the ice cream truck and kept it like in the background, like
yeah. But they also added it to like a.
They extrapolated on it.
They extrapolated it to. I recognize what the instrument was, but it's not an accordion, but it sounded very similar.
Yeah. Well, I was saying earlier, Twisted Metal reminds me a lot of Blood Drive.
Yeah.
Like, it has the same world feel, and like the show for Twisted Metal has the exact same vibes as Blood Drive.
Other than the fact that these cars aren't powered by shoving people into their engines.
I said vibes. I didn't say.
Yeah, I know.
And like Blood Drive only got 1 season, so like the fact that this is now a thing that exists and like already has 2 seasons, season 2 is airing right now. If you want to watch Twisted Metal, it's available on Peacock to watch right now. New episodes are still coming out on Friday nights.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the show's really good. I've been enjoying it. Sweet Tooth's amazing. Samoa Joe's really funny.
Anthony Mackie's actually good. Don't let the new Captain America movie lie to you, or Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Anthony Mackie is not the problem. It was writing.
Well, Captain America: Brave New World's got a lot of problems, and none of them are Anthony Mackie.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, watch Twisted Metal. And if you want to tell us what you think of Twisted Metal or your favorite vehicular explosion shows or movies.
Or your favorite character to play in the Twisted Metal games.
Yeah, I was always a Quiet man, just because I love that pink hearse.
I was a Sweet Tooth guy.
But,
mainly because I was terrified of clowns, and I went, be the thing you fear.
I'm terrified of clowns. I can extrapolate that fear and force it on everybody else.
Basically. Also admit I didn't have to look at them.
Fair enough. Yeah, but you can reach out to us a myriad of ways, including our email at copilotsreview@gmail.com.
Yes. Or you can find a link to that as well as our Blue Sky, our Discord, and our Patreon, and our YouTube by going to copilotsreview.simplecast.com.
But anyways, thank you for flying.
And please fly again soon.